Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Just a few days ago, Gandhi loyalists compared Rahul Gandhi to Lord Ram. He called him a yogi who is doing tapasya or penance. Today, as the world saw firsthand the evidence of the construction of the Bhavya Ram Mandir on track for January 1 Darshan deadline, there are many who are asking, it is not the BJP that is walking the talk on its commitment to Lord Ram and Hindu Astha. In just a year from now, that is 1st of January 2024, the Ram Mandir will be complete and Ram Bhakts will soon be able to pay their obeisance to Maryada Purushottam. This was publicly declared by Home Minister Amit Shah in Tripura, and after that it was going to be Champat Rai who repeated the same. The Yogi Sarkar opened the door for all to see the temple where Ram Lalla was Virajman and will recite 60% of the work is done, and with the speed with which the work is going, the remaining 40% will not take much time. Here's a report from the Mandir side. No. Take a look at the Mandir side.
ये तस्वीरें आप देखिए, मंदिर के चारों ओर परकोटा इस तरीके से बनकर तैयार होगा और करीब 50,000 लोगों की कैपेसिटी होगी कि एक साथ एक समय पर लोग खड़े हो सकते हैं। जो भव्य मंदिर होगा, यानी जहां पर इस वक्त हमारी मौजूदगी है, ये 161 फीट ऊंचा मंदिर होगा, जिसमें 21 फीट करीब करीब बन चुका है। 17,000 ग्रेनाइट पत्थरों का इस्तेमाल अभी तक हो चुका है और इंटरलॉकिंग करते हुए, जिसका जिक्र आपसे थोड़ी देर पहले जगदीश जी कर रहे थे, इंटरलॉकिंग यानी जो इस तरीके के सांचे बनाए गए हैं, इनके ऊपर दूसरे ग्रेनाइट के पत्थर रखे जाएं और किस तरीके से इन सांचों के द्वारा और साथ ही यहां पर कॉपर के पिन होंगे, उनके जरिए कैसे अगले ग्रेनाइट पत्थर इंटरलॉक हो जाएंगे, इसकी व्यवस्था, यानी एक अलग तरीके का मंदिर जो करीब 1000 साल तक रहे, जिसकी मजबूती हो और उसमें किसी भी धातु का इस्तेमाल ना हो। इसके साथ ही जो पिलर्स के बारे में अगर मैं आपको बात बताऊं तो ग्राउंड फ्लोर पर 166 पिलर होंगे, फर्स्ट फ्लोर पर 144 और दूसरे फ्लोर पर 82 पिलर होंगे। मुख्य मंदिर जो यानी जो गर्भगृह के आसपास का जो पूरा एरिया है, ये 350 बाई 250 फीट एरिया में बनेगा, जिसमें 12 प्रवेश द्वार होंगे, यानी बड़ी तादाद में श्रद्धालु यहां पर पहुंचेंगे दर्शनों के लिए। तो उनको किस तरीके से मैनेज करना है, इसकी भी बाकायदा व्यवस्था की गई है। इसीलिए समय लग रहा है और समय के साथ इस बात का भी ध्यान रखा जा रहा है कि किस तरीके से जो श्रद्धालु यहां पर लाखों करोड़ों की तादाद में आए, उनको किसी तरीके की कोई समस्या ना हो।
The BJP says it's a result of its tapasya, while the Congress and others merely indulged in lip service. The Congress, which once had questioned the very existence of Lord Ram, says Lord Ram is the last resort for the Saffron Party and that the construction is happening because of the Supreme Court verdict. Listen in to the opposition voices.
राम मंदिर का निर्माण, प्रभु राम मंदिर का निर्माण जो है, ये सुप्रीम कोर्ट के आदेश से हो रहा है। आप लोग नहीं करा रहे हो, आप लोग कोई अध्यादेश लेकर के नहीं आए थे जो खामखा का क्रेडिट ले रहे हो। तपस्वी श्री राहुल गांधी जी हैं, आप लोग तो वोट के लिए प्रभु श्री राम का नाम का इस्तेमाल करते हो। आप लोग तो जहां वोट नहीं मिलता वहां संसद में कह देते हो कि राम सेतु का कोई अस्तित्व नहीं है। संभल के बोला कीजिए।
देखिए, अयोध्या में जो प्रभु राम का मंदिर बन रहा है, वो भारतीय जनता पार्टी के पैसे से नहीं बन रहा है। वो माननीय उच्चतम न्यायालय के दिए हुए आदेश के उपरांत जनता के पैसे से और राम भक्तों के दिए हुए चंदे से बन रहा है। भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने तो वहां चंदा चोरी का काम किया है। ये सबने देखा है किस तरह से वहां पर विश्व हिंदू परिषद ने अरबों रुपए की धांधली की, ये जग जाहिर है।
And that brings me to the legitimate question on the Newshour tonight. Congress tapasya only talk and tokenism? That's the question, and that's the debate coming up on the other side.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
Joining me on the debate tonight, Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi, senior spokesperson and member of parliament of the BJP, Shantanu Gupta, author, advocate Varis Pathan, national spokesperson of the AIMIN, Sanjay Jha, author, Ravi Srivastava, political analyst. I want to ask you, Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi, The Congress party says, Ram Mandir, what's the big deal? This is because of the Supreme Court verdict, and in any case for the BJP, Ram is the last resort because work and the record of work of this government is not enough, and therefore Ram, as always, will be the last resort to get votes in 2024. How do you respond to that?
First of all, the party which is conducting the so-called Bharat Jodo Yatra are unable to understand that was or is Ram the last resort for BJP. It was the first and foremost, first and last resort for Mahatma Gandhi. His political vision was Ram Rajya. His everyday's bhajan was Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram. His last submission was Hey Ram, which is written on his samadhi. But unfortunately, the modern day Gandhi has nothing to do with that. Second, it is for Lohia ji, who was a socialist. He said Ram, Krishna or Shiv ke bina Bharat ki kalpana nahi ho sakti. And in the constitution, you know, Bhagwan Ram's picture is on which part of the original constitution? On the page of fundamental rights. It means the fundamental rights are originated from the, you can say, the ideals of Bhagwan Ram, and it also should be under the Maryada of Maryada Purushottam Ram. But unfortunately, the Congress is actually forget about the present day context, Congress, Gandhiji and Constitution. I would like to ask, whether you go in the Far East, whether it is Indonesia, you will find the Ram, Laos, Vietnam, you will find Ram. South Korea is the only country whose first lady officially claims that they are the descendants of Ram. And come on the western side, you know, in Kurdistan area, which is between the Iraq and Turkey, there is a Sumay province, in which, in the caves, there is a picture in which it is carved, and a king is standing with a bow in its hand, exactly in the dhoti, like the Indian, and a monkey is sitting in front of it in this pose. What does this mean? And you know, in the Egypt, the Pharaoh dynasty, the first king of the Pharaoh dynasty is Ramses. Ramses means Ram issues से derive होकर वो बना. आप देखना चाहेंगे तो Ram is a vast ब्रह्म अनामय अज भगवंता व्यापक अजित अनादि अनंता सर्वव्यापक थे. But unfortunately, these two parties whose statement you have said, up till now they have not expressed regret. They are saying that it is by the Supreme Court of India. So what does the credit? This is the issue of credit, but they have openly said. Narasimha Rao, in the capacity of the Prime Minister of India, has said, हम बाबरी मस्जिद बनवाएंगे. We never said कि हम राम मंदिर बनवाएंगे. हमने कहा राम मंदिर बनवाएंगे संत और श्री राम जन्मभूमि समित. We will only try to pave the way. हम मार्ग प्रशस्त करेंगे. मुलायम सिंह यादव, as Chief Minister in 1993, said, हम बाबरी मस्जिद बनवाएंगे, तामील करेंगे. आज तक कोई स्टेटमेंट विड्रॉ किए क्या, रिग्रेट किए क्या? और मैं तो ये कह रहा हूं, हिंदू धर्म का नहीं, इस्लाम धर्म का मजाक उड़ा दिया उन्होंने. इस्लाम के हिसाब से नरसिम्हा राव और मुलायम सिंह दोनों काफिर हैं. काफिरों को मस्जिद तामील करने का हक ही नहीं है, इसके बावजूद सीना ठोक ठोक के कह रहे थे हम बाबरी मस्जिद बनाएंगे. सो दे हैव मेड द मॉकरी ऑफ द इंडियन सिविलाइजेशन, इंडियाज बिगेस्ट इंटरनेशनल सिंबल of culture and spirituality, and also made the mockery of Hinduism and Islam both.
Well, let me get in Mr. Sanjay Jha. Mr. Sanjay Jha, the question is not just about Ayodhya and the Ram Mandir. After all, in just ahead of the 2019 elections, it was the Congress ploy to somehow delay the hearings, do it after elections, and the BJP did not have the Ram Mandir to really back itself up. In the elections of 2019, they still won the elections with a larger mandate than in 2014. Number one. Number two, let me also give you a status check on all that they have done over the last 8 or 9 years that they've been in power. Whether it was pandemic, free ration to poor, whether it was vaccinating people, whether it was other schemes, toilets 2014, there were 6.25 crore toilets. In 2022, there are 17.15 toilets. IITs have gone up from 16 to 23. IIMs have gone up from 13 to 20. Internet users have gone up from 25 to 65. Digital transaction, and that's the digital economy, so to speak. From 127 crore in 2013-14 to now 7,422 crore digital transactions. So this is not just about Ram Mandir being the last resort. Look at the fact check on all the achievements of this government and look at the opposition. What do they have to show? And is it going to be enough for rhetorical criticism to win you the elections in 2024?
Navika, very pertinent questions. Short response. On most of the achievements that you have mentioned of Mr. Modi's government, a lot of it I would love to talk when the budget day is out, but one data point is relevant to basically contradict or rather counterattack the proposition being made. One is that Indians across the board, and I say this with substantive data evidence, around 83 to 85% of Indians who live in the informal sector today are almost worse off in the last 4 years, which means that their real incomes or their income or wages are less than what it was pre-pandemic. So India has actually got worse off. More people are in poverty. We can discuss that later. But I think the question that you have raised today, and I heard my dear friend Sudhanshu speaking with his usual, visceral passion. But Sudhanshu ji, you make one mistake here. You see, India is a secular country, Sudhanshu ji. Although many of your appointed constitutional authorities today want to challenge the basic structure of the constitution. So, the kind of authoritarian threat you have become to India's destiny and future, which the founding fathers had once envisaged for our country, is now for every Indian to see. Whether they vote for you or not, that's not in my control. But the point, Navika, that we need to understand here, that today the BJP has weaponized hate and demonized minorities. And I say so with complete responsibility. We are a secular nation, Navika. And I can tell you the Ram Temple, one, as a Hindu myself, I'm very proud is happening. I can tell you not just as a Hindu, I'm telling you Muslims and Christians and Jains and Parsis and Sikhs. I think we all live together. We enjoy our visits to the mosque. We like going to churches. We like going to temples. It is only the BJP, which is nothing but a crude and a savage political party that will absolutely practice no principles or what I call as, politics of any prudence, which has actually divided religious communities by saying that this symbol of a religious temple belongs to me or belongs to us. And I think that is doing a grave injustice.
Savage political party? Strong words those, Sanjay Jha. BJP is a savage political party. Sudhanshu Trivedi wants to respond to that.
I mean, they are brutal. They are brutal.
And the Congress, paragon of virtue?
No, I think the Congress has made errors, but I think the BJP intentionally runs this country on a policy of divide and rule.
Well, Sudhanshu Trivedi, respond.
Sanjay Jha is saying that BJP is brutal and the Congress is you can say an epitome of boon. That's why brutally सर तन से जुदा हुआ राजस्थान में कन्हैया लाल साहू का, उसके बाद भी शांति नहीं हुई, रितेश सोनी का सर तन से जुदा हुआ, उसके बाद योगेश जाटव का हुआ। अरे सुनिए, यू आर सेइंग गलत था, उसके बाद पीएफआई को परमिशन दी गई, which is now officially a banned organization, which was seen by suspicion by your government in Kerala. But Rajasthan government has gave a political rally to PFI. And then you are saying brutal. ISIS flags in Kashmir were not brutal. After Jume की नमाज एक भीड़ निकलती है और इंस्पेक्टर अयूब को कत्ल कर देती है, it was not brutal. What happened to Hindus in Kashmir Valley, it was not brutal. It was a soothing song of secularism. That's why I am saying whatever has happened, and all over the country, look at the terrorist activities, Delhi, Bombay, Chennai, Guwahati, Hyderabad, Lucknow, Varanasi, Jaipur, Nagpur, Pune, कौन सी जगह थी जहां नहीं होते थे? But that was not brutal. That was a soothing song of secularism. Actually, the charade of secularism has created a lot of problem. And again, I would like to emphasize, in our original constitution, it was not there. And if you want to go in the debate of Constituent Assembly. The topic was initiated by Mr. M.K. Shah of Gujarat. And then Mr. D.K. Mishra, Jawaharlal Nehru, H.C. Mukherjee participated, and finally it is concluded that this word is not required here. But unfortunately, when you have created this world and this type of problems have created, and you are saying India is a secular country, so you are having the problem with Ram temple. Sir, I would like to say, भगवान राम एकमात्र ऐसे भगवान हैं जिनको दूसरी रिलीजन को मानने वाले मानते हैं. हाँ नहीं, लेट मी कंप्लीट. इंडोनेशिया में रामायण का सारा पार्टिसिपेशन मुस्लिम करते हैं. The only country in the world whose king holds the title King Rama the 10th, it is Thailand, not a Hindu country. I have already quoted South Korea, but unfortunately Hare Rama Hare Krishna movement started in Europe. They were not Hindus, but unfortunately those who try to become more secular than the actual, they have created this problem. And that's why finally I would like to say brutal to ye tha, ek sentence aur keh दूं. 1986 mein, at the time of Shah Bano, you said it is a religious matter, so we will not interfere even in iota. So you have trounced the Supreme Court judgment and provided the Sharia above the constitution of the India and above the judgment of the Supreme Court.
Exactly. The party that imposed emergency, the party that presented Shah Bano, the kind of justice that it did, is calling other political parties brutal and savage. Sanjay Jha, you need a reality check, honestly, on this one.
Can I tell you, Navika, one thing? He quotes Shah Banu because it's politically expedient for him. The Congress paid a massive electoral price for minority appeasement.
My friend, electoral price or not, is it correct to do that? Was it correct? Would it be correct to do that today, then, any time in history to do something like that? Was it right? Yes or no? What do you mean by political expediencies? Navika, forget politics. Just talk about justice. Was that a correct position to take? Emergency. You're calling, call the BJP any number of names, you're free to do that. But to call that party savage and brutal and not talk about the Congress emergency and Shah Bano is being a little bit of an ostrich, Sanjay Jha, burying your head in the sand.
Let me tell you, it calls for the ultimate brazen hypocrisy on the part of my friend Sudhanshuji on behalf of the BJP, because there is another Banu called Bilkis Banu, and the disgusting, reprehensible, repugnant behavior of
Fair enough, and that's an issue we picked up on several occasions, and the BJP must really repent that, but as must you for Shah Bano. But let's not get diverted on the debate. Let me get in Mr. Waris Pathan. Mr. Waris Pathan, in this country, the question is about, is the Ram Mandir the last resort? My question is, and I begin to bring it again away from religion and also talk about performance of development and delivery. And I want to ask you, you may criticize the government, it's your job in the opposition to do so. But that has to be based on some amount of facts. Look at the economy. Look at the digital transactions. Look at the fact that it took 67 years for this country to move from, $1 to $2 trillion economy, and it took 5 years for it to move from a 2 to a 3 trillion economy. That's one of the facts. The per capita income has grown. The number of startups that have gotten into, the top grade, unicorns, 107 from a number of 16. Look at, you talk about inflation. Talk about inflation. Around 5.72% has come down, had hardened a bit. But look at those people, parties like the Congress in Himachal Pradesh, which put in their manifesto will never raise the price of diesel. And as soon as they come to power, they hike the prices of diesel. My friend, it is on this that I want to ask you. Can the opposition just get away by pointing fingers at the BJP, or should you have enough data to support the argument that you make? Mr. Pathan.
Well, Navika, the BJP has started their election campaign for 2024, and they have also, I think, issued their election manifesto wherein they say they will be contesting the elections on the basis of Ram Mandir, on the basis of Astha, on the basis of love jihad, and on Chaku and Churi. Why do I say that? Because now they have started this Ram Mandir. Second, their own minister in Karnataka has said that we will be fighting the election on the basis of love jihad, and we don't want to talk about development, about roads, about repairs, about schools, about hospitals. He has made it very, very clear. Thirdly, their own party member of parliament, Pragya Thakur, has said that keep your knife, churi, chaku तैयार रखो, दुश्मनों की गर्दन काटने में काम आएगा. So it is very, very clear that the BJP won't be fighting the 2024 elections on the basis of development, wherein the country's most important issue today, what we are facing is unemployment. Modi has failed in fulfilling any of his promises which he made in the last 8 years. That is, I want to bring it to the notice of the nation. He said 15 lakh will be deposited in your account. Nobody got it. He promised 2 crore jobs will be given to unemployed youth. Till today, the youths are asking Mr. Modi, Prime Minister, when will we get job? He said petrol, diesel prices will reduce. But today, what we find is it is difficult to even run a home. Dollar and rupee, kindly compare that. What we have come to. The fourth important thing is about the international security. When will Modi speak about that? When he will show his red eye, or when he will show his 15-inch chest to China? They are afraid of taking even the name of China. So I want to ask a simple question to the BJP spokesperson of whether the BJP will fight the election, or whether the country will run on the basis of Astha or the basis of constitution. Whether we will speak about development, unemployment, providing jobs, or whether we will just contest the election on Ram Mandir. What they have done. From 2 to 365, they came on the basis of that they will be making the Ram Mandir. What they did, they played politics on Ram. Ram ji के नाम के ऊपर मंदिर बनाया, ट्रस्ट बनाया, और उसमें गपला कर दिया इन्होंने. They did corruption in that. So where are we going? So I would like just to speak 2 couplets on this BJP. That BJP वालों देते हैं भगवान को धोखा, इंसान को क्या छोड़ेंगे. कसमें वादे, प्यार, वफा सब वादे है, वादों का क्या. सुधांशु त्रिवेदी जी, ये देश, now they've understood, people of the country wants development, they want work, and where are we heading for?
Well,
is this your agenda?
Sudhanshu Trivedi ji,
with this agenda,
Sudhanshu Trivedi ji is responding to you. He's responding to you.
To take the country to $5 trillion economy. Oh. How? Explain to us.
Okay.
Only by doing Hindu and Muslim will you run the country. You want to divide the country. They have spread hatred, so much hatred the BJP is spreading in the country, Navika.
My friend Varis Pathan, some comments of your own party men is also something that you should see, if you're talking about how divisive the BJP is. But Sudhanshu Trivedi is responding to you.
I will give the example of both the development and what Mr. Varis Pathan has said. You know, when Ram Temple movement got momentum, it was in 1990-92. What was the status of Indian economy at the time? Worst. 2 times the devaluation of rupee. Foreign exchange reserve less than 1 billion. The rate of inflation 14.5. Rate of unemployment immense. सब कुछ बैठ गया था. याद करिए 92 की बात कर रहा हूं. और उस समय द पॉलिटिक्स ऑफ हेटेड, गोलियां चलवाई जा रही थी. कोठारी ब्रदर्स के सर पे रख के गोली चलवाई जा रही थी. मंदिर मस्जिद की पॉलिटिक्स की जा रही थी. एंड द pledge was taken that not that we will rebuild the economy of India. The pledge was taken by Samajwadi Party and the Congress Party that we will rebuild the Babri Mosque. और जब हम पावर में आए 1998 to 2004, 100 बिलियन फॉरेन एक्सचेंज रिजर्व हुआ अटल जी के टाइम में. 500 बिलियन हुआ मोदी जी के टाइम में. आईटी रिवॉल्यूशन अटल जी के समय में, डिजिटल रिवॉल्यूशन मोदी जी के समय में. पूरा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बनना शुरू हुआ. नेशनल हाईवे डेवलपमेंट प्रोजेक्ट बना अटल जी के समय में. और आज एटॉमिक पावर से लेकर डिजिटल पावर तक मोदी जी के समय में. अब सुन लीजिए मान्यवर, 5th लार्जेस्ट इकोनॉमी हम बने. मगर अफसोस अभी पूछना चाहता हूं नाविका जी, दिस इज द पार्टी विच इज गिविंग sermon. The name of the party is Majlis-e-Ittihadul Muslimin, means only concerned with the unity of the Muslim and with the fame कि 20 करोड़ 100 करोड़ पे भारी पड़ेंगे. 15 मिनट के लिए पुलिस हटा लो और क्या गंदी गंदी बातें नहीं बोली गई देवी देवताओं के लिए. Now if they are trying to give these things, I think your Akbaruddin Owaisi said, you said, even Asaduddin Owaisi said कि जब मोदी चले जाएंगे पहाड़ पे और योगी चले जाएंगे मठ में, तो तुम्हें बचाने कौन आएगा. These are the words. No, these are not the words of hate. They are the soothing song of secularism. That's why I am saying
condemn those statements leading to genocide of Muslims. The statements were made, pick up sword, kill Muslims.
condemn किया
there
है।
was a call for genocide
ओवैसी का बयान
given
condemn किया है।
why don't you condemn that, Sudhanshu Trivedi? Why don't you condemn that? Why don't you condemn your own member of parliament?
I am asking the statement of, I am not asking you the answer for any other organization. I am asking the statement of your party president, your MLA and your statement. वारिस पठान आपका स्टेटमेंट है 15 मिनट के लिए पुलिस हटा लो, उसके लिए माफी मांगी है, बोलिए, बाकी सब छोड़िए। कि योगी चले जाएंगे,
चाकू छुरिया तेज करा लो, गर्दन काटने में काम आएगा। Why don't you condemn that statement, Mr. Sudhanshu Trivedi?
Nobody is condemning their own statements. Varis Pathan ji, if you come on to statements, there are enough statements that have been made by your political party as well. So let's just let it lie. Nobody, even Mr. Rahul Gandhi, who says he's out to give love to everybody and do Bharat Jodo, has said statements like Modi to is desh mein petrol dal raha hai. Isn't that provocation? Well, everybody needs to calm down ahead of the elections. But the point here is, and let me come back to Mr. Ravi Srivastava. Mr. Ravi Srivastava, again I come back. If there are institutions that have been made, the IIMs and the AIMS, let me also tell you, the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, the Pradhan Mantri, the Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Yojana, the insurance schemes that they have brought in. Each one of these, and Har Ghar Jal, the Jal Jeevan Mission, each one of these has shown certain achievements. My friend, if it was only about rhetoric, speeches that have been made, one would say, but there is work on the ground that you have to see, and see the criticism of the opposition, which seems to be without any data, without any solid foundation. And that is when I come back to the question, why do you call the Ram Mandir the last resort? After all, it is following the deadline that had been announced before. So what's the last resort about Ram Mandir?
See, Navika, first of all, the schemes which you are talking about are all big farce. There is no data available how many people have been benefited by the PM-wise Suraksha Yojana and all those Ujjwala Yojana, which has now closed down almost. We know the reality of that. Let's not talk about that. The fact is that BJP has got the clutch upon that Mandir issue only, because Ram is the only savior for them. Ram only polarizes. Ram only brings the vote in the election. So Ram is to be brought in everywhere. The moment election comes, these things start. As you could say, Karnataka elections are there. Now that Ajan, Hijab, Halal, that statement from Pragya Thakur, that so-called Sadhvi, and these kind of provocative statements are made to polarize people, because they have got only that ammunition in their armor. And that to divide people, they can go to any extent. Even the extent of, there was a BJP spokesperson, my religion. My religion is inside the four walls of my house. The moment I come out of the door, I am a proud Indian, a secular Indian. I do not talk about Hindu, Muslim and Parsi and Sikh and Jews and all that. That is my principle, fundamental principle. I do not play the caste card, community card, religion card and all those nonsense which BJP does.
What about Mr. Kejriwal?
Mr. Kejriwal is not my Ram for that matter. He is a party convener. He has got his own choices. I also do Hanuman Chalisa in my house. I don't do it on the street. This is my prerogative.
I'm coming to you, Sudhanshu Trivedi, but Shantanu Gupta, would you want to respond to Mr. Ravi Srivastava?
I think I'm hearing a lot of skewed data from Sanjay Jha ji to Ravi ji. Sanjay Jha ji said poverty has increased increased in India. I know which data is that. As per Global Multinational Poverty Index 2022, almost 415 million people have come out of poverty. Earlier this percent of 55%, now it's 16%. I don't know which data. I think I'll refer him correct data. Raviji is saying about Ram, let me quote about the history, engagement of Ram, how different parties engage with Ram. Kapil Sibal wanted the Ram Mandir verdict to be delayed as long as 2019 election should not happen. Mulayam Singh ji, we all know how brutally he killed Kar Sevak. Narasimha Rao, Mulayam Singh both wanted to make Babri Masjid. BSP wanted a toilet structure there. Aam Aadmi Party wanted a hospital there. Kejriwal ji ki nani ko to pasand nahi tha ki us zameen par Ram Mandir bane. And in BJP side, BJP is with the issue from 1989 Palampur Adhiveshan. Or be it in 2003, Atalji got the radar exploration done. Or Yogi Adityanath government would got the 10,000 Farsi, Arabic, Sanskrit document translated for Supreme Court to give a judgment on them. So I'm thinking, in the Janta's court, you guys are standing. Are you standing with Ram or you're not standing with Ram? Keep singing your secular song or whatever song, but just today Navika shows, all of you tell, are you standing with Ram or not? And Sanjay Jha, let me tell you, from next, Sanjay Jha, last, just give me 10 more seconds, just give me 10 more seconds.
Contractor of Ram.
Just give me 10 more seconds. Navika, can you please, Navika, can you please start the show?
The contractor of Ram होने की जरूरत नहीं है ना भाई.
Ravi.
Okay, Shantanu Gupta has a question for Sanjay Jha. Allow him to ask. Allow him to ask Ravi Srivastava ji. Shantanu.
Ravi ji. Next year, Ravi ji and Sanjay Jha ji, when you will land in the international airport of Ayodhya, you know what will Captain tell? Captain will tell, now we are landing at Maryada Purushottam Shriram Airport. I don't know what will you do then.
Please don't give me dope of that international
airport can happen. So a lot of things are coming. Lot of things coming out of it. Just show your Shraddha to Shriram. Just show your Shraddha to Shriram with crores of people, crores of Hindus in this land and across the globe. Ram is a hero. Your hero can be Babar. Your hero can be Aurangzeb. Your hero can be Khilji and Temurlang. But well, the hero of
all right,
Hindus
Sanjay Jha. Sanjay Jha. Why is there an allergy to Ram? The Ram temple is on course. The Supreme Court gave the verdict, after which the construction had to start. Why is there this allergy? Ke bhai yehi hai last resort. I've talked about other schemes. Talk about data. You know, it's all there. Ram Mandir is not the only thing the government has done. There are other things that have happened.
Sure. Navika, quick response. Firstly, I don't think Shantanu is prepared for this debate. If he read the pandemic report, he would have known that 230 million people have been pushed below the poverty line after the COVID hit India. And that number hasn't changed thereafter. Anyway, your question is very relevant, Navika. Let me answer you. The BJP
is skewed data. If you compare pandemic time and time, you yourself are picking exceptional data point.
I'm just answering Navika's question. The truth is that the BJP and the
just
RSS
pointing out your skewed data
to
picking.
Appropriate Hinduism. Hinduism, by the way, Shantanu ji and Mr. Sudhanshu ji, is a phenomenally great religion. It teaches you compassion, tolerance, love, and fraternity.
Okay,
it doesn't teach you hate.
To say that. Good we force you to say that.
To hurt other people. It doesn't teach you to insult others.
I'm happy we forced you to say that.
Shantanu, don't interrupt. You're looking a little rattled. But I will tell you, एक धक्का और दो, बाबरी मस्जिद तोड़ दो.
No, I'm not.
You know, Bhagwan Ram would have.
I will respond.
Actually,
Sanjay Jha, आप जानते हैं who has made? अभी Ravi Srivastava ji what he said? Ram polarizes, but sar tan se juda normalizes. Saffron flag polarizes, ISIS flag normalizes. This type of thing has given the strength and the clarity of thought to the people of India. That's why the situation is there. Once Mirabai was asked by Tulsidas that my family and my government, means they were the king, they were saying not to pray for your God, what should I do? Tulsidas replied, Jaake priyan Ram vaidehi, tajiye tahi koti bairisam, yajjapi param sanehi. If nobody whosoever not likes Ram and Vaidehi, then denounce him like an enemy, howsoever dear it is, and so the thing happened to you. And if you are saying, sir, that Hinduism is a great religion. First, I would like to say Hinduism is the only dharma. It's not religion. All else are religion. If at all you consider it as a religion, it is the only religion in the world which has no concept of conversion. That's why India is the only country which never went for invasion. But unfortunately, those who went for conversion and invasion and destroyed the entire human history has been equated in equality with Hinduism, whose books has inspired the scientists like Oppenheimer, Werner Heisenberg, Schrödinger, Niels Bohr. But unfortunately, you equated with those. I am not denouncing anybody, but those theologies which has said the earth is flat and earth is stationary. इसलिए मैं कहना चाहता हूं ये इक्वालिटी के नाम पे जो आपने किया है, इतना इनजस्टिस किया, उसकी वजह से ये सिचुएशन आई. And lastly, I would like to say again, after we came into power, the so-called Hindutva party, always the rate of inflation remain less than rate of growth. The rate of growth always remain high. But when the so-called Hindu growth rate 2% आते हैं, one more thing, जैसे जैसे टेक्नोलॉजी एडवांस हुई है, हिंदू धर्म की श्रेष्ठता बढ़ी है. ये बताइए, सरस्वती नदी कब खोजी गई? नासा की सैटेलाइट पिक्चर से. राम सेतु कब दिखा? नासा सैटेलाइट पिक्चर. राम मंदिर, when radar mapping came, you have got a stay from the court कि खुदाई नहीं होगी क्योंकि डर था नीचे कुछ निकल आएगा. But unfortunately for you, when the radar mapping technology came, and even in today, काशी विश्वनाथ कोर्ट में है ना कि radar mapping नहीं होनी चाहिए. This shows that who is standing on the side of truth and who is standing on the side of deceit.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, something that is a matter of astha and something that should have been celebrated has become a bone of contention. But is it going to be a disqualification for the Modi-led BJP? Or is it going to be a feather in his cap? Because is it only the Ram Mandir that Modi is banking upon? Or does it have a record that it will have to show the people, which will determine who's going to be the winner in 2024? That's the question. And that's what the opposition will have to really garner their research on, because it will have to be both achievements and the Ram Mandir, not one or the other. Thank you very much to all my panelists for joining me on debate number 1. On the other side,